American Athletic Conference. So with that, we'll bring up Coach Tom Herman from Florida Atlantic.
All right, I will be brief. Good morning. This is a fantastic facility to hold our media days. I'm really excited about getting the 2024 season started, but I'd be remiss if I didn't start with a few thank yous. I truly believe that players and coaches win games and administrations win championships, and one of the reasons we took this job a year and a half ago is because we believe that we have a championship administration, and President Volnick, Brian White, our athletic director, Mary Gardenia, our senior women's administrator. We've got a championship administration at FAU. Our board of regents, our board of trustees, excuse me, does a phenomenal job. And then I'd like to thank Mike Oresco for his time serving this conference. As Tim said, this is my second time around in this conference. The faces are a little bit different, but the general theme, the general positivity, the fact that the American Conference is positioned in the landscape of college football where it's positioned right now, I think speaks to the leadership of this conference and what they've been able to do from a leadership standpoint throughout this ever-changing climate. And then thank Tim Pernetti for taking this challenge on. Tim, thank you. You're doing a phenomenal job early in your tenure. We spoke at length last night with the head football coaches, and as a guy that's pretty invested in this conference, I'm excited about its future under your leadership, and I'm just excited to see where this season as well as the next few years go for this conference. With that, I am extremely excited to talk to you a little bit about the FAU Owls in 2024. Questions?
All right, as we come around to get your questions, Coach, can you tell us about the two gentlemen that came with you here to Media Day?
Who's asking?
That was me to your left.
To my left?
That was me.
Oh, you're way, okay, yeah. I would love to, because they're both marry your daughter kind of guys. They are absolutely everything you want in a football player, and I'm speaking of Federico Merengues, our multi-year starting center and captain, and our starting middle linebacker in Jackson Ambush. These are guys that are the epitome of selflessness, the epitome of leadership, the epitome of just hard work and having a mission and believing in the process in order to achieve that mission, and going out every single day and going to work and giving your team and your teammates your best. And again, I know one of them's got a girlfriend. I do have a daughter too, so I've been trying. But these guys they're unbelievable representatives for what college athletics is. Federico is not just the student athlete of the year for FAU football. He's the student athlete of the year for the entire athletics department at Florida Atlantic University. Student athlete meaning grades, community service, the whole total package. He's the best we got at FAU. And that's saying something. And Jackson Ambush is nipping at his heels probably for that same award. So I can't say enough about them, their leadership, their buy-in, and watching them grow this last year and a half has been really fun.
All right, first question from the media will be right there in the front to your right.
Hey, Coach. So with the offense taking in a lot of new pieces this offseason, do you feel like the defense is going to be able to kind of be the team's kind of anchor, I guess you could say, because obviously you have Jackson returning, Jarrett, Dez, D-line, a little bit of changes as well, but overall still a lot of continuity on the defense. Do you think it can be the anchor for the offense, or do you think it'll be balanced?
No, I do. Yeah, we're gonna be, as a whole, more talented on offense. I think the dynamism of our running back room was on display in the spring. The quarterback room has two very, very capable guys, one that's started and won games at a very high level. The receiver room is one that will certainly be deeper, not nearly as top heavy though. With the two of my last 3 years as a head coach, we've had the leading receiver in the country with Devin Duvernay in 2019 as well. And when you lose a guy like LeJohntay, you're not going to replace him with one guy, more than likely. And so, but we feel a lot better about the depth in that room and the ability to spread the ball around. And then I think the key on that side of the ball, again, we're going to be more talented up front, but experience is going to be lacking a little bit there up front. So we need to gel very quickly there. But your question was more specifically about the defense. I went to the same school as Trent Dilfer in terms of question answering. But the defense, it anchored us last year. I would argue that we played good enough defense to win a lot of those games that we didn't. I think we held 7 of our 8 conference opponents to under their season average in points and yards. So we played pretty good defense last year. Losing Evan Anderson will hurt. That's as good a nose guard and impactful of a nose guard as I've been around. Again, probably not going to fill his shoes with one guy. Might be a couple guys there, but to ultimately answer your question, really excited about the defense. I think we can continue to improve. I think we're going to replace the pieces that we lost, maybe other than Evan, with better pieces. And then offensively, we've got to come along as quickly as possible.
Other questions for Coach? Right here in the front to the left.
Don't make me go Biff Poggi.
Sean Johnson from CBS Sports. How you doing, Coach? I'm curious, a year into the job, I mean, what's kind of been what you expected, and what's sort of been challenges that maybe you didn't anticipate?
Well, I think, not going to a bowl game for the first time in your career as a head coach, it gave me a lot of time to think. I didn't realize you had that much time Christmas break. And I think, a couple things. One, we were last year's team. I shouldn't say we. Last year's team was 1-5 in one-score games. So we had the requisite talent to be in those games. We just didn't have quite enough to be the difference, right? And I'm talking about on the road at Illinois after getting your butts kicked by Clemson, and it's a 6-point game in the fourth quarter, and then you go to the other side and you say we had a culture good enough to keep us in those games, and those games that maybe we shouldn't have been in because of the talent, but just not quite enough to carry us over the top. So I feel like we've improved the talent, we've improved the culture, and what I've learned in my time here is that we made the right decision. When deciding to get back into college football, the job needed to check 2 boxes. My family needed to be happy living there, and you needed to be able to win championships. And the first box has absolutely been checked. Boca Raton I had no idea. And my family has absolutely fallen in love with living there. And then winning championships, I do believe we can. We do have an uphill battle. We don't have the money yet that some of the established teams that in the American have had because of the TV revenue and the discrepancy with that payout every year to our 6 schools. So we're fighting, but the good news is we've got a great athletic director that understands what it takes to be successful at this level, understands that switching conferences last year was a major step up, and that the commitment level now needs to take a major step up. So I think as far as the right people understand the right things, so to go back, we made the right decision is probably the thing I learned, is that we're on our way to becoming, I think, what we all envisioned this being.
Any last questions for Coach? Up right there in the front on the right.
Coach, so we saw in the offseason you promoted Jeff Love and Ryan Beer to new positions. Can you kind of talk about your philosophy of promoting within a little bit, and do you think that it trickles to the team aspect of it as well for the players that decided not to hit the transfer portal?
Yeah, I think, one, when we promoted Michael Sabini from analyst to full-time edge coach as well, so we've done a lot of I take a ton of pride in the coaches that, you've got Rashad Samples and Brian Carrington, Kenny Guyton's up at Wisconsin, you guys that played for me, GA'd for me, that we've helped move along in their career, and I take a lot of pride in that. And what better way, especially at Florida Atlantic, we're not going to pay millions of dollars to our director of player personnel or general manager for football or whatever. The support staff, they love titles, you know that, right? So I can hardly even keep them straight. But I do know that when you find good people, especially at a place like FAU, that make my job easier, just a skosh, and that really have an ability to impact whether you win championships or not, you want to reward those people and keep them around your program for as long as you can. And so you're right. I hope our players do see that in our program you get rewarded. You do the right thing, you do your job, and really, really good things happen. You may not get patted on the back a whole lot along the way, but at the end of the day, you do your job and the rewards will come.
Last one here in the front to the left.
Yeah, Tom, follow-up question. So, what are kind of your thoughts on Army coming into the league? Obviously there's been one option team here before, but what kind of challenge is that, and how does that help the league, do you think?
Well, my defensive coordinator, Rock Bellantoni, will get mad at me, but I'm excited about it. I don't know that he's real excited about it. Defending the triple option, twice in conference play is going to be a difficult task for, I know playing Navy, the stat back when they really had it rolling, teams were like 2-20 or something, the week after they played Navy. So it's going to be a challenge, but we're excited. I think, it speaks to the leadership of this conference when the college athletic world, as we know it, is blowing up. The American just said, hey, U6, come here. Oh, Army, you're independent, you're looking for a home? Okay, we got you. They were very calm, very measured, very calculated in terms of the leadership of this conference. And to be able to now have two of the service academies in and to be able to play. I know Coach Munkin does a phenomenal job, has for years there. And what a storied program. You're talking about Heisman trophies and national champions and the whole nine. And so extremely excited. I wish we didn't have to play them week 2. I wish we could get them like week 8 or 9, but so we could kind of figure out what was going on. But excited to see them come to Boca Raton. I know it's our first conference game. I would assume it'd be their very first American conference game as well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, go Owls.